Hello, everybody. It's my privilege to introduce to you, all the way from the south side of Chicago, the man, the myth, the legend, my Theo, your brother, the South Side Unicorn.
Look at their budget. Romney wants to he said the first 100 days, he's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules. Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Hey, everybody. That's right. It's Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show. And this is a mulligan, let me let you know. Seems like yesterday we had a little bit of problem with our sound system, and so I got a lot of reports that the show from yesterday didn't come out quite so, well. So here we are, and we're going to do a mulligan on this. So today's topic is yesterday's topic. We're going to change it up a little bit because of some of my friends out there on Facebook. The topic yesterday was, what's your favorite on a rainy day? Is it chicken noodle soup or is it chili? Well, some of my partners came back in and they said, man, I would have had tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. So we're going to slide that in there on this mulligan, throw a little tomato soup and grilled cheese. Because when I heard that, I was like, man, why didn't I think of that? So thank you all for your input on the show when you hear it out there. But yeah, this is a mulligan show to get back at the situation yesterday. So look at here. We got a lot to talk about, and you know how we do it on the Southside Unicorn Show. Any way we want to do it. So we're going to go back through, pretty much. If you've heard yesterday's show, if you strained your ears and tried to get into it, okay, then you probably got the essence of it. But you're going to hear some of the same things come back today because we owe it to the listening public to get this thing right. Gladys Knight. Gladys Knight and the Pips. Now, the funny part about that is I can say her name in certain circles and nobody would even know what I'm talking about because she's not Cardi B, she's not Snoop Dogg, she's not Gaga. This is Gladys Knight, an icon, a legend, a civil rights activist. And she is going to be singing the national anthem at the Super Bowl on February 3rd. Now, I have mixed feelings about that because, anybody who knows when I appeared on other shows over the last few years, iHeartRadio, KMET, you know how I feel about the NFL right now because they've been acting a fool, all that foolishness, kneeling here and there. So I basically turned them off, okay? I didn't even listen to it on the radio or watch the games. Broke my heart because I love football. Most men do. Most women do. We like the game. But I had to let it go because you're not going to disrespect me right in front of my face. And part of who I am is being an American. Part of who my friends and hopefully you all are is being an American. So you're not going to wipe your butt with my flag in my face. So I had to let the NFL go for a little while. But, I was listening to Rush Limbaugh, and it sounds like he might be right. He said it looks like the NFL has learned their lesson by way of pain, that the customer is always right. And we showed them what was up because their patronage dropped off precipitously, dropped off seriously, Kaepernick's still out there getting paid. I would prefer to call him Kaepernick because, when I ain't feeling somebody, I don't care about trying to pronounce their name right and whatnot. But, I'll spare us that for today because I have to, recognize that this particular segment is about Gladys Knight singing the national anthem. Now, when I think about that, I say, is this the NFL actually apologizing to us? Sometimes people can't just come right out and say, I apologize. I'm sorry. It's hard for them to do that sometimes. So they find some, obvious way to still let you know their intent. Some people send flowers. Some people send a card. Some people use skywriting in the sky. and say, will you forgive me? All this kind of stuff. But when I think about who they selected to be the singer of the national anthem, Gladys Knight, I think the NFL is trying to tell us, the American public, the paying public, we sorry. We got it figured out. My bad, my give up. And that's cool. So now it falls on us. And, as a Christian man of God, and I will own that, that's who I am, we are supposed to be slow to anger and quick to forgive. Well, here's an opportunity for all of us to maybe give the NFL another chance. So I know that people out there that know me, they're not going to believe what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to watch the Super Bowl on February 3rd, and I will be in all of my Green Bay Packer regalia. I have a custom-made bowling shirt that was made out of, Green Bay Packer materials. I cannot believe, if anybody's been watching my Facebook, I just sold my Green Bay Packer watch. Because for all intents and purposes, I was done. Like my good friend Mason Weaver, he's not even messing with it no more. And that's pretty much where I was until I heard this news about Gladys Knight. Till I saw that there really isn't any kneeling going on anymore. So it's like, okay, we all have to do that. Whether you are Republican or Democrat or independent or agnostic or Christian or Wiccan witch or whatever, to make this thing, the great experiment, work, forgiveness has got to be in the mix. It's got to be in the mix. Or we're wasting our time. We're lying to ourselves. So this is me practicing what I preach. I'm gonna go and watch that Super Bowl and get myself back into it. But now let's talk about the Super Bowl and Colin Kaepernick. Ooh, I can't believe I pronounced his name right, but I did. Colin Kaepernick. Seems like he has some place in the NFL situation. I don't know why they feel obliged to always have to mention this cat whenever something's going down, but they even put, Gladys Knight in a position where she had to address his issues about wanting to kneel at the Super Bowl or the football games. And so that's the way that goes. But here's something I want you all to get. We've all seen the Marvel comics, especially the ones they put on the movies lately. I mean, those things off the chain. But we've all seen it. And we've seen where, the episode where Thor put his hammer down and people tried to pick it up. And the way that works is only the most worthy are able to pick the hammer up. Well, when it comes to the issues of civil rights and how it should be handled, how it should be done, there are some people out there touching the issue, messing with the issue, Al Sharpton, Colin Kaepernick, that have no business touching the civil rights issue. It's too heavy. Put it down. That's not your hammer. But now, Gladys Knight, she's going to pick that hammer up as if though it was a microphone. And she's going to do it to it. Why? Because she is worthy of dealing with this issue. She has the right mindset about the issue of inequalities, police brutality, this, that, and the other thing, and the national anthem. Let me prove it to you, because this is her own words. They asked her, how she's going to approach the national anthem and her ideas about, why the players felt so compelled to make a overt demonstration of their displeasure with our country. So these are the words of Gladys Knight herself. They asked her, and she said, and I'm reading verbatim here, I understand that Mr. Kaepernick is protesting two things, and they are police violence and injustice, she wrote. It is unfortunate that our national anthem has been dragged into this debate when this distinctive senses of the national anthem and fighting for justice should each stand alone. I am here today and on Sunday, February 3rd, to give the anthem back its voice, to stand for that historic choice of words, the way it unites us when we hear it, and to free it from the same prejudices and struggles I have fought long and hard for all my life. From walking back hallways, from marching with our social leaders, from using my voice for good. I have been in the forefront of this battle longer than most of those voicing their opinions to win the right to sing our country's anthem on a stage as a stage as large as the Super Bowl 53. No matter who chooses to deflect with this narrative and continue to mix these two in the same message, it is not so and cannot be made so by anyone speaking it. I pray that this national anthem will bring us all together in a way never before witnessed, and we can move forward and untangle these truths which mean so much to all of us. End quote. That's from the great Gladys Knight. Now, do you see the stark difference between how she's dealing with the hammer, the issue of social injustice, racial prejudices, and the police, and how Mr. Colin Kaepernick thought he should try to handle it? It's like night and day. Now, there are people out there already who want to try to call her names, and don't you do it, don't you do it. This woman was dealing with racial injustice when it was really hot. Okay? If racial injustice was to be a storm, Gladys Knight was dealing with it when it was a tsunami. Okay? Her, Aretha Franklin, all the rest of them. It's like borrowing from her now, deceased sister in the game, Aretha Franklin. You young people need to understand RESPECT. You need to have some respect. Don't be talking about this woman and saying that she don't know what she's doing, and because you're triggered. You young people out there, you triggered. You show her some respect. You're standing on her shoulders. Just look down and you'll see it. She went through the social movement when it was a tsunami. And now, based in comparison, it's a drizzle. It's Verda, as most weathermen would say, and y'all crying about how wet you are in your $1,000 suits. Come on, y'all. So this is going to possibly be a moment when we can move forward, but we can't move forward alone. When she takes that stage, when this goes down, love and support is all that we should be hearing. No more trying to rewarm it back up. I am worried, I am concerned that some selfish, self-aggrandizing fool is going to kneel. I hope you don't do that. And I hope you don't disrespect this American treasure known as Gladys Knight, because she's coming to do something right. And let's show you how bad this thing has gotten, okay? Check this out. Maroon 5 is going to be doing the halftime show. And do you know that from September till right now, because they just pretty much agreed that they're going to do the show, do you know that they had the consternation of, should we even do it? Would you like to know why? Would you like to know why one of America's most premier bands of this era had a problem considering whether they were going to do the Super Bowl show or not? Well, here it is. They're all white. There's no black people or people of color in their band, and they were concerned about that. They're trying to be sensitive about the issues that surround the game, the football game. Now that should show you just how wacky this thing has gotten. They almost didn't want to perform because there were no people of color in the band Maroon 5. But, they managed to fix it. They got it all figured out because, there were two gentlemen who were kind enough to lend them, fingers in the air quote, a ghetto pass. Looks like Big Boy and Travis Scott are going to join them on the stage for the halftime show. And, I really want you to let that sink in. Maroon 5 ain't done nothing to nobody. Maroon 5 ain't trying to be racist. You think they wake up in the morning and they intentionally make their music to insult or disrespect people of color? No. It almost dispels the idea of white privilege, because if white privilege was real, these gentlemen would have taken the stage, got their chips, and went on about their business and said, huh. But no, they didn't. These white performers said, hey, we don't feel right not going up on the stage without people of color with us. Remember in the beginning of the show, I said we all got some forgiving to do. We got to meet each other in the middle of the road. I always borrow from some of the performers, not because I like them. Black Eyed Peas. Can you meet me halfway? We got to meet each other halfway, y'all. Just like President Trump and Nancy Pelosi. They got to meet each other halfway. Right in the middle. That's where I'm going to stay, for you. I'll be looking back, night and day. So this is the things that we have to, make sure we demand from our politicians and from ourselves and from each other on Super Bowl Sunday. Because all the world, not just us as Americans who actually get to enjoy this game that we all love so much. The whole world's going to be watching our Super Bowl. You can see it in Great Britain. There'll be cats in pubs drinking warm beer. Because, see, I was in a place called Lake and Heath, England, and it tripped me out drinking warm beer. The beer was as warm as my blood. I'm like, no, this ain't right, man. Put it on ice. And they just fell out laughing. They're like, you want it on ice? I'm like, yeah, put my beer on ice, man. So bottom line is my beer will be on ice, on February 3rd. Because I'm actually going to go over to my boy's house like I used to in the days of old. I'm going to do it. I'm going to walk up in there, because the last two Super Bowls, they didn't see me. I mean, thank you, Gilbert, for always asking, for always offering it, even with that Raider flag out front of your house. My people always like, hey, Kenny, you coming over for the Super Bowl, man? You coming? And I would respectfully decline because, this is how I felt. This is how strongly I felt about the disrespect that Colin Kaepernick and the others were doing to our nation. But come on, let's try something new. Let's go ahead and get ready on February 3rd to celebrate Super Bowl 53, is it? I think I'm right about that. The Roman numerals can mess you up sometimes. But I think it's Super Bowl 53, and we're going to go ahead and try to enjoy that together as a country, united. Okay? Because for me, I want my goose pimples back. I want to feel the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I want that tear going down my eye when the planes do the flyby, as Gladys Knight sings the national anthem, as our military shows us the strength that protects us from evil. This is good stuff, people. Let's enjoy it. Let's soak it up. Let's let the kids see it. Let them see us all together and enjoying the privileges and the rights that are bestowed upon us because we live in such a great nation. The United States. The United States of America. Okay? Now, that's enough about that story right there. And let me get my thoughts together, and we're going to move into the next segment and discuss another situation, which again highlights the greatness of our country. Yeah, that's right. This story highlights the greatness of our country as well. Because, see, in America, if you put your mind to it, you put some sweat equity into it, you can do it. There's nothing in this country you can't achieve if you put your mind to it, if you prepare, if you work your craft, whatever it is. If you work it, you can achieve it in this country. There are people who will live and die in other parts of the world having never been nothing more than what they were when they got here. Now, that's a sad state of affairs for humanity. When you think, yeah, I'm not going to name no countries by name because, last time President Trump did that and used the word asshole for those, he said, hey, these places are basically assholes. Everybody got all up in a tizzy. So I'm not going to mention no names, but I'm going to keep it real. There are places on this planet where you can be born and you will die having never moved more than 2 miles from where you came from, having done nothing more than what the the caste system says you can do. You ain't coming up out of it. You remember what's his name, Michael Jackson, when he was in the movie called The Wiz, and he was a scarecrow, and they were like, "You can't win, you can't break even, and you can't get out of the game." Yeah, that's how it is for some people around the world, but not here in America. You can do anything you want. Case in point, which is the next story in our segment, we're going to talk about a guy named Kenneth Cunnin. Kenneth Cunnin had a dream. Kenneth Cunnin wanted something so bad, and he did everything he could to try to make it happen. But, sometimes life will deal you a deck of cards that aren't necessarily fair, right? So, Kenneth Cunnin, age 27, when he was 18 years old, he ended up with a spinal cord injury. And that spinal cord injury turned him into a quadriplegic. Quadriplegic, that means his legs weren't working, his arms weren't working, but his mind was still working. He had something he wanted to do, something he wanted to accomplish, and he put his mind to it, and he made it happen, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Kenneth Cunnin made his dream happen. Would you like to know what his dream was? He had the dream of actually appearing in a porn video. That's right. Kenneth Cunnin's life ambition was to be a star in a porn video, says the New York Post. See, I got this story straight out of the New York Post. You can check it for yourself, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, Kenneth Cunnin went through everything to get himself prepared to do that. And you're thinking, well, okay, how's that going to work? Well, he needs some help. He needs a partner. And he managed to get one of the veteran porn stars to actually help him with this video. He did it and had a veteran porn star help him out, and he achieved that goal. Now, I know you're thinking, what the heck are you talking about? Hey, I'm just trying to show you, what can be done in America. The man's, in a wheelchair, quadriplegic. He had an idea that he wanted to do a porn movie, and it happened. And he even had a veteran porn star kick in and make it happen. The porn star that helped him do it, let me read here and see what this is. The porn star that helped him do it was Pierce Paris. Pierce Paris is well known in the porn industry, a veteran of the gay porn industry, says the Gay Star News. And so, yeah, Mr. Kenneth Cunnin got it on with Mr. Pierce Paris in a gay porn video with a quadriplegic. And so, don't tell me what you can't do in this country, okay? Don't tell me the man is holding you back or some sad, sorry story like that, because Kenneth Cunnin got to do what he wanted to do, and if he can do that, well, now you can do almost anything, can't you? That's the story. That's the message I wanted to convey from sharing that story with you all, okay? So now on to some more news. Check this out. Randy Jackson. What's that show? The name of it's jumping out of my head right now, but you know him. They used to pick the stars and whatnot, singing show. Well, he was spotted by TMZ out one night, and Randy Jackson, age 62, was seen with his new paramour because he's going through a divorce. But the divorce won't be final until like February 2nd or something like that. And he was seen with a new star. Her name is Simone. Randy is 62, and Simone is 27. That's right. 62-year-old bruh, and he's got this young lady, Simone, with him, age 27. Hey, I'm not hating. And I understand the May-December relationships, but sometimes, man, I'm like, you know? He has his divorce coming up, and it's set to be finalized on February 2nd. So I'm sitting there thinking about Randy Jackson right now, and I'm like, man, let's look at this. He's got a new girlfriend, straight dime piece. She's absolutely beautiful. She's in the industry. She's a young singer. The man's going to be divorced on February 2nd. He did not have a prenup, so they managed to do a a non-public agreement, his soon-to-be ex-wife, whatever it is, if she agreed to it, she happy. I don't know how happy Randy gonna be, but then I think about it. Okay, your papers come on February 2nd. You got a dime piece on your hand, and the Super Bowl is on February 3rd. Randy gonna be all right. Mm-hmm. But I got to thinking about it. I'm like, man, how many relationships like that be really going on? So I just looked, and I couldn't believe my eyes, man. I couldn't believe it. Patti LaBelle, who comes from the same genre as Gladys Knight, as Aretha Franklin. Patti LaBelle is 70 years old, but she got a man. Yeah, that's right, 70 years old, and she got herself a man. Now I saw her, at the ceremonies and the funeral for Aretha Franklin. God rest her soul, and she looked pretty good. I mean, Patti LaBelle ain't no slouch, but she's 70. But guess what? She got a man, and her man is 40 years old. But wait, it gets better. He is actually younger than her youngest son. I would not want to be at the Thanksgiving table with that. But that's not our business. That's not our problem, is it? That's something for Patti LaBelle to deal with. There's a couple others that once I saw that, I just kept on looking. I'm like, who else is, doing something like that? I don't know if I feel comfortable, with my mom's having a man that's like younger than me. I mean, like, what? Come on, mom, really. I'm supposed to call this dude dad or something? I couldn't do it. But then you look at Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey, he has a 22-year jump on his partner. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow. Then you got, my man Harrison Ford, aka Indiana Jones. He ain't looking for no lost ark no more. He looking for that lost cradle, because he got 30 years on top of his girl. I'm like, this is madness, man. But then I asked myself, I'm like, when you're dealing with money, power, and fame, you're gonna see stuff like that, right? You know, that's just the vortex upon the industry, where you got this going on and that going on. But I always say, would you really see that same kind of relationship in your regular neighborhood? Say at an apartment complex. Would you see some 75-year-old lady with a 40-year-old man? Now you might see the other one the reverse way around, but what they call those sugar daddies. Yeah, you might have a sugar daddy situation where some young lady got this old cat, and you know they be working it out and whatnot. But that's not a normal situation. So when I saw the Randy Jackson and Simone hookup, something about it just made me go, is that real love? Is that true love? Or what is that? It's like somebody getting over on somebody. That's just the point out on it. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, just Google it. Google it, and you'll see. Yeah, Randy got himself a new girlfriend, and homegirl is fine, man. She's off the chain, looking real good. Now I want to go into another Hollywood type story, because talking about May December relationships and all that kind of stuff got me to thinking about something my homie came to me with the other day. Cause see, he knows I got a I guess you call it a guilty pleasure. Now I recognize my age, and I recognize the person that I admire, who happens to be Rihanna. you know. But I ain't trying to go out like that. My liking is, if I was in the same age group as her, ooh wee, you know. But yeah, let's talk about Rihanna for a minute, because my boy came to me and he's like, man, you know that chick you like? I'm like, who? Rihanna? He's like, yeah. She trifling, man. She ain't no good. She just straight wrong. I'm like, man, what are you talking about? He's like, look at here. The girl is suing her dad, man, over her name. She's suing him over the use of her name. And I'm like, he's like, but he's the daddy. It's his name. That's some cold stuff. And see, that's the problem with gossiping. That's the problem with taking somebody else's, opinion or information about something and letting it get inside you. Because for a minute, I was like, man, that is messed up. That's wrong. She's so whack that that's how she gonna play the game. You know. And I decided to look for myself. And I looked a little deeper to try to figure out what is going on with Rihanna. And found out what it is. And I'm going to share it with you right now. I'm going to read from an article that came out of the TMZ magazine, I believe it is. And it says just like this. Ready? Rihanna's tumultuous relationship with her father has just taken a turn for the worse after the singer filed a lawsuit claiming her dad is exploiting her name to try and get rich. Riri just Riri. Just saying that makes me feel some kind of way. Riri just filed the lawsuit obtained by The Blast against Ronald Fenty, Fenty. That's the last name, Ronald Fenty, and a company called Fenty Entertainment, Fenty. Now, on face value, you're like, this is the man's name. He should be able to name his company whatever he wants, right? But let me continue. A company called Fenty Entertainment, Rihanna claims her father and another man named Moses Perkins created an entertainment company and have been soliciting business acting as agents of the singer. The star says she has nothing to do with Fenty Entertainment and that although Mr. Fenty is Rihanna's father, he does not have and never has had authority to act on Rihanna's behalf. The Umbrella singer claims some of the erroneous bookings by her father includes, get this guys, oh my goodness, includes a $15 million tour in Latin America and 2 concerts at Staples Center in Los Angeles and T-Mobile Arenas in Las Vegas for $400,000. In both cases, she claims to have nothing to do with the bookings. She also says Ronald claimed he ran the business offers by Rihanna's actual label. Her label is Roc Nation. Everybody knows that. But the singer argues nobody from Roc Nation was ever made aware of anything Ronald was doing. In 2018, Ronald tried to trademark the phrase Fenty, Fenty, for a line of boutique hotels. This dude, y'all know this man, a boutique hotel. Do any of you guys know what those are? I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, sometimes people go there to, spark up a relationship, Valentine's Day. Picture this boutique hotel. It's got the fur carpet, the bear rug, the fireplace, the heart-shaped bed, and the mirrors up in the ceiling. Those kind of places. Not that I would go there, right? Almost. And I just said, nah, that ain't for me. But that's what he was trying to do, is set up a chain of boutique hotels, right? But it was shot down by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Go figure. Rihanna claims she has sent many cease and desist letters to her father and his business partner, but they did not stop. She is now forced to file a lawsuit and wants an injunction against her father, as well as unspecified damages. Rihanna has discussed her rocky relationship with her father in the past, claiming she witnessed Ronald abusing her mom when she was a child. She told Oprah that once she witnessed her mother suffer a broken nose at the hands of her father. When I checked into it and I read this story, I was like, man, she has every right to sue this man. She has every reason to. And so I'm thinking about my boy bringing this to me the way he did, and then you find out different. This is why when somebody comes to you about somebody else, just imagine you the person that they was talking about, okay? And make sure you look into it for yourself. But then I think about, Rihanna, Riri. She lived to see her father abuse her mother. She herself became a young woman and had Chris Brown abuse her. Now she turns around and her father is in line abusing her. That's her name, Her name created her fame. That's her game. And if somebody tries to mess with your name, your fame, and your game, that's a damn shame. You know? Now, she's not going to get no money out of this guy. Unspecified damages. We all know. You heard the story just as I told it. This man ain't going to come up with no chips. So, we can just forget about that. But I do hope that she wins. Based on what I'm seeing there, she will prevail. She's going to get this thing straightened out because, my goodness, can you imagine the Latin American, venues calling her up? Where are you? We're waiting for you. Why aren't you on the stage? And she don't know nothing about it. And this man then walked away with what appears to be, millions of dollars. Who does that? Who does that to their child? That's, put my lights in my mama name, messing with your kids' credit. Well, I know we got to survive out here sometimes, but you don't mess with your children's, name and their future. That's them. Children come here through you, not for you. And it's a bad parent that messes with their kids' credit or their name or anything like that. Whatever's going on in your life, fix it another way, but don't be doing that. You know what I mean? Because you have them hamstrung. This young lady worked hard to make her name in this industry, and to have your dad doing that. See, that's why on Sunday, tomorrow, we're going to have a show, and it's going to be a show that we need to. We're going to address this situation between children and their parents, and because this is the father-daughter scenario, and to me, there's nothing more precious than a father-daughter relationship. I'm not going to be no hypocrite about it. I am not proud about some of the things that have gone on in my own personal life between me and my children. It could have been done a whole lot better, but that don't preclude discussing the issues, and we're going to do that tomorrow. Eminem. Look at Eminem and his mom. The struggles and the issues between him and her. We gotta fix our nation, man. And it's gonna be parents act like parents, but children act like children. You be who you're supposed to be, and let your parents be who they're supposed to be. You got some young people up in these houses. The parents are scared of them. Scared to say anything to them because they might get hurt. That's why we got gangs running around in Chicago and Detroit and Atlanta and Florida and L.A. Because the adults in that house are held hostage by their children. But I digress. We'll have that conversation tomorrow because that's at the root of the problem in a lot of communities. Emphasis African American community, because sometimes, and I'm not that kind of guy. I believe in equality all over the board. But sometimes there's issues that we have to discuss that only pertain to the African American experience in America. And yet we act like we don't want to talk about it. We want to put on airs and get all funny about it. The story between Rihanna and her dad is just a small example of what's going on out there that we need to get into and discuss. But now we're going to move on, but we're going to stay in that Hollywood, vein. And hey, check this out. Speaking about Rihanna, Chris Brown and all this stuff, why don't we just go ahead and throw Drake in the mix, right? Drake was spotted in Hollywood. Correction, he was spotted in Las Vegas, y'all. Drake was out there doing a performance, and here's what he said as he was leaving the stage. Now, this is a quote. I'm trying to, do these quotes verbatim, but I can't do the total quote because my man, he used some spicy language up in there. But Drake was heard to be saying, Vegas, when I come back, I thought it would be at the T-Mobile Arena or some ish, he said. But I'll be back here at XS all year. Y'all had a lot of chances to see me. Now, XS, and that's the letter X and the letter S, which is a phonetic trick to say excess. It's over at the Wynn Casino, and it's a pretty nice club. But now that's going to be his house, basically. It looks like he's going to be signing an agreement with them to perform there exclusively. And it got me thinking. I was like, wow, man. I remember Drake when he was on Degrassi. He's a long way from Degrassi now, ain't he? And then I got, I'm doing the show for you all, and I'm prepping it and all this. And I got to thinking, I'm thinking about Rihanna and her dad and Eminem and his mom and, all the stuff that can happen to us in a family dynamic. It is not pretty sometimes. But, we can take our bad memories and we can use them to make us stronger, or we can use them to have a pity party. But not all relationships are bad all the time. There are some good days in there. And when I think about Drake and I think about Degrassi, I think about Rihanna and her dad and all this stuff, it brings me back to when I was married and I had my stepchildren with me. And I remember a perfect day where it was overcast, sort of like the rainy days we've been having the last few days. And there we were in the house, little mist on the windows, and the heat from the food being cooked kind of fogged up the windows. And it was a really cozy day. And for whatever reason, my stepdaughter, she wanted us to watch this show with her. It was just something she wanted us to do. So there, my two step boys on the carpet, and they love for me to turn them into a burrito. And that's like, they lay on one side of the blanket, you put the blanket on them, and you roll them to the other side. And so they're all rolled up in the blanket in front of the TV on the floor. And my stepdaughter would, sit between me and my ex-wife, and we'd watch the show. We watched the show called Degrassi. And that's how I came to, know who Drake is, because he was a performer in this show called Degrassi. And then I got to thinking, I'm like, man, wait a minute. When I was younger, I always believed that Vegas was the place that retired performers went to when they basically weren't performing in the main circuit no more. They all kind of went to Vegas, and there's where they were. You had Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Perry Como, what's his name, Wayne Newton. Wayne Newton. Look, Wayne Newton performed at the Stardust, and I can remember a time me and my ex-wife, we were at the Stardust, because that was my spot in Vegas, back in the day. And Wayne Newton had just finished performing. We had taken in the show, but I'm out there rolling on that roulette, and my girl was next to me. And as Wayne Newton and his bodyguards went walking by, my man stopped. He cold stopped and came over to where we were. Now, my wifey was like kind of flattered, but watch this. No hating. Okay, we're not together no more, and I wish her well wherever she's at, and I'm doing good and all this stuff. But hey, she's fine. She's fine, beautiful woman. So I understood exactly what he was doing, because it happened all the time. The girl is just that pretty. So here's Wayne Newton stepping to her, and he's talking and whatnot, and then it dawned on him that we were we're an item. And I'm like, so what? You about to make me some kind of indecent proposal, man? And it took him a couple more seconds of talking to her before he realized that neither him or them bodyguards were going to be able to stop me if he didn't get his butt on up out of there. Now, I'm all over the place with that, but that was just a memory that came up. But yeah, about these, performers in Vegas, it looks like that ain't the case anymore. I said to myself, how old have I gotten when Drake is now performing in Las Vegas, right? He ain't Frank Sinatra. It ain't that time, right? But it looks like what's getting ready to happen is this. All those casinos are going to start grabbing all the major performers. Britney Spears is already there. J-Lo is already there. Now Drake is there. Everybody's going to probably end up being farmed out to a particular casino, which means when you consider that the Raiders are coming to Las Vegas, oh man, you got the Raiders, you got all these performers going to all these different, casinos and whatnot, all these different venues. Vegas is going to be the spot, because, hey, let's face it, California, you messing up, man. You used to be the party. It used to be, how'd that song go? California knows how to party, right? Not no more. We got Governor Gavin Newsom up in the house, and the man is even taxing water, y'all. When you when you got a governor that's gonna tax you for the water, how you gonna have a nice drink and say give me a whiskey and water, and the man's taxing the water that's gonna go in your drink? California, you forgot how to party. The party's gonna now be in Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm going to get on over there and check Drake out, a.k.a. the Scorpion, because like they said, if you go on his Instagram, uh, you'll see where he actually is now calling Club XS his new home. So if you want to catch a performance from Drake, that's where you're going to have to go and get that done. So that's, some of the stuff I want to impart on you all today. And I always like to, go into a little bit of what's happening in our politics right now. And this is me. This has nothing to do with my sponsors or any affiliates of, the Southside Unicorn Show. This is just Kenny talking. All right? Nancy Pelosi, Ted Cruz, Donald J. Trump, all these players in this game. Oh, Chuck Schumer. Man, we're getting worked, people. We're getting handled. This gridlock that's going on over there in Washington right now, I want you to think about it. Didn't happen until everybody voted in these Democrats and they swore in. From the minute they swore in, the government stopped moving. That's not their job, people. They're not supposed to go up there and gum up the works and make things so impossible that the president has to take the stance he's taken. Nancy Pelosi is not the president. Each branch of the government is equal, but not to the office of president. When she sits there and says no for no's sake, we're the ones that are losing. We're the ones that are taking a beating. But see, then I asked myself, I said, wait a minute. Because of the illegal immigration, because of the rampant crime and sex trafficking and everything that's going on relevant to illegal immigration and easy access to America, why would an American politician be okay with basically a cocaine highway running from the Latin Americas all the way into America? When you think about the position of Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, they're literally running shotgun for drug lords. Now, add into the mix that Ted Cruz just came up with a beautiful suggestion. He came up with an acronymous program called El Chapo, where the money from the drug lords is used to finance the wall. Part of actually the RICO Act of 1972, where the ill-gotten gains of criminal activity and enterprise can be obfuscated, can be taken and used, in the government, basically auctions, stuff like that. So my man Ted Cruz says, hey, I got the solution to our problem. We're going to go and just take this money and we're going to use it for the wall, which means every drug dealer from Colombia, from Mexico, from Puerto Rico, from Afghanistan with the poppy fields, oh, they went into panic mode. Man, America's about to mess up. They're going to break us away from our customer base. So now you need to think about this, people. All you got to do is Google it. You saw it. There were shootings, broad daylight, gas stations, stores, front of houses, people getting blasted in Puerto Rico. Now, why would the Speaker of the House and several other Democrats break their neck getting to Puerto Rico? Even a security detail should have told them something wasn't quite right about that. You gonna go to Puerto Rico where, dudes is getting cold blasted like Nino Brown in, New Jack City. People just getting blasted everywhere, but there's Nancy Pelosi and several other Democrats getting a party on, watching, some play. I don't even want to mention the name of the play because it gets on my nerves. Everybody tries to act like it's so hot, and all it is a platform to, stick it to us. But then she tries to come back home, and she wants to fuel up another plane. And guess where she's trying to go? She's trying to go to Afghanistan. Y'all better look at this the right way. You're lending her too much respect. You're lending her too much trust. What does Puerto Rico and Afghanistan have in common? That's right, drugs. Don't you know that these drug lords is in a panic over what our president is doing? Don't you know they pulled Nancy on the carpet and said, explain this? Because, see, I don't care if she directly or indirectly is getting enriched by this thing. She's got to be a drug lord's best friend. The woman don't want the border closed. She don't want nobody being checked when they come through. She tries to tell you that the drugs are coming through the ports of entry. Ooh, I almost want to curse. If you know they're coming through the ports of entry, then we shouldn't have no more drugs, right? Who you think you talking to? You think we that dumb, right? Come on, man. Somebody getting paid. Billions and billions and billions of dollars in drugs coming into our country. And the only people you see saying, no, no, you can't stop this, no, is the Democrats. And Nancy Pelosi breaking her neck to get over to Puerto Rico, and she tried to go to Afghanistan. So when you see the president stopping her from going, don't just think that's a ploy about the border. He know what's up. He know what's up. He basically put her in a bad situation with her bosses, I guess. You're going to start seeing her get real nervous. You see how she quickly turned around and said, okay, I'll give you $1 billion. She's going to give up all of it in a minute because he choked her out. Now there are people going, Nancy ain't got no control. She ain't got no power. Just like Hillary Clinton lost all of her income the minute she had no way to pay for play. You think Trump's dumb? You think he don't see that? He's taken away her ability to sell our nation to other people. So we're going to ride this thing out. We got to. Think about it. I mean, back in World War I, World War II, Korean War, women didn't have on stockings. They didn't use the nylon. We needed the nylon so the guys could jump into the silk using the parachutes. Nobody ate meat in America because we made sure that the meat was given to our soldiers who were fighting the battle. Where? Over there, over there. And we won't come back till it's over there. But the fight is going on over there, yes. But we got a new fight right here on our own soil. And it's a domestic fight. So my heart goes out to you government employees, who aren't getting your money just yet. And I say just yet because we all understand now, eventually they're going to get their money. Hell, you can go over here to check in the cash and get yourself some money. They'll give it to you quickly because they know you good for it. But here's a thing I want you to think about. That check, that little green check with the Statue of Liberty with a hand up on it, them government checks, that's the same paper that they use to write the checks for the Marines, for the Army, for the Navy. Okay? Same paper, same checks. But those people are paying a price far greater than a little inconvenience for the safety of our nation. There was a Democrat president who once asked, ask not what your country can do for you, but instead what you can do for your country. How much are we willing to sacrifice? If we're not willing to be inconvenienced for our freedom, then man, we may as well be dead already. Sorry about your luck. But if we would stand up for the right things, which is, get this president that $5 billion and get it over with, man. Are you guys aware of how much this furlough has cost us already? I think we're already past $17 billion. We passed $17 billion already. This is why you got to understand where the president is coming from. The man said it clear the last time they punked him and used the budget to make him do something he didn't want to do. He looked right in that camera and he said, I'm going to sign this, but you're not going to make me do it again. I'm not going to do this again. A man of God, a Christian woman, what's our credo? Let your yes be yes and let your no be no. He told him, don't bring this trifling stuff to me no more and not give me the money to save my people. And here they come. If you let somebody play you like that, then you're worthless, man. Donald Trump ain't no punk. He's not going to let them do that. He said, don't bring me no more bills like this one. He's tried to work with them with this DACA situation and everything. There's only a limit. There's a limit to how far back you'll bend, before you just say that's it. That's why he did what he did with the plane too, because see, it reminds me of a story when I was a little kid. It's just a little joke. There were these people working on a train, track or whatever, and the foreman was up on the top watching everybody work, and it was getting close to the time for them to end their job that day. And this dude in the group of men that were working, he looked up at the sun, he wiped the sweat back, and he looked at everybody, and he said, "Quitting time, y'all." And the foreman looked at him and said, who you think you are? You don't be telling nobody to get off work just yet. I'm the foreman around here. I tell people what to do around here, not you. Then he looked at everybody and said, "It's quitting time, y'all." I always thought that joke was kind of funny. And that's what you see playing out right now. Nancy Pelosi is not the president. Just because she's being disrespectful, obstinate, and an obstructionist, don't change nothing. President Trump is our president. He is a lawfully, duly elected president of the United States of America. And yes, this is a power battle, but it's one that the president must win. Because if he doesn't win it, we all lose. The Democrats need to figure out whose side they're on. I pray for all our leaders at all times. That's what we're all commanded to do, those of us in the body. We pray for all our leaders. We pray for our nation. We pray for all our soldiers overseas and everywhere that, putting their lives at risk. And we pray that whatever this is motivating Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and the Democrats to be such a pain, that bring a peace to them. Bring some understanding to them. Because history's going to write that some of the greatest damage that was ever dealt to the United States of America came out of the halls of Congress. The Democrat Party is very damaging to our country, and we don't need that. I'm not knocking on you guys, just stop being the problem and become part of the solution. That's all I'm saying. So, I hope you've enjoyed the Southside Unicorn Show, because this is how we do it. It's going to have variety. We're going to obviously be dealing with some of the political stuff and cutting that nasty cheese up and taking a bite every now and then, because when you're talking about politics, there's always something to talk about, with these people and the shenanigans that everybody's pulling. So it's just an hour where you can just kick back, catch some of the issues of the day with a little bit of a twist on it, a little bit of a regular conversation. You can join in on this conversation anytime you like on my Facebook page, or catch me on Twitter at KenWhite4444. Can't wait to hear from you. Some people chimed in yesterday on the show when the question was asked, chicken noodle soup or chili? And the answer came back, tomato soup with a cheese toast sandwich. Guess what I'm having for dinner tonight? That's right, tomato soup, cheese toast sandwich. Thank you, bro, for putting that out there for me, because I wish I had thought about it myself. You know how sometimes they say, wow, I could have had a V8. I could already, I stuffed myself on chicken noodle soup yesterday, which was quite delicious. Maybe I'll give you my personal recipe one day, because when you eat it, for some reason, you don't catch no colds. You're feeling pretty good. I got the recipe basically from Beyonce. Not directly, but she has a thing that she does, and she swears by it, that by doing it that way, she doesn't get sick. So, I really enjoyed talking to you guys today, and it's been a great show. And oh, is that sound? That means it's time for me to go, ladies and gentlemen. It's been fun. I'll catch you guys actually tomorrow. We'll be back on for the Sunday show, and we're going to talk about mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters, and how we're going to get our families put back together, because we have definitely got to fix this problem in America, everybody. We got to get our house put back together. I miss y'all. I miss the Super Bowl. I miss my Democrat friends. We can't be this mad at each other no more, y'all. We got to ease back and bring this thing back into some sense, because this is just going too far. So this is Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show, and I'm looking forward to talking to you all again tomorrow. Put some word on Facebook. Let me know what you think about the show. Any ideas, anything you want to talk about, you'll be more than welcome to. We'll do it in a live chat on Sunday, so if you got something to share, can't wait to hear from you. Again, thank you for the evening. Good night.